Hey, what's up, guys? Badger One here with Badger Team. Continuing to make more videos on the use of waypoints, and made a couple so far. Um, Decided I would do a couple of more complex ones. This first one, though, is going to be rather simple, and it's something that I haven't covered in my other waypoint tutorials so far. Using triggers and that kind of thing with waypoints, and that's the timeout feature that you can use on waypoints. You make things happen when you want them to happen rather than them just happening once you get the waypoints set down. And by using the timeout feature, you can control when they happen exactly. So I'm going to show you how to set up a simple one here. Let's put down a unit first of all. And I'll show you how the timeout feature works firstly, and then I'll show you how we can put all that together with triggers to make a very complicated event happen. So let's put down this junior sergeant, and let's say we want to make this guy a patrol route. And we'll say we're going to make him patrol this helipad right here. So just make sure he's highlighted. We're going to give him a move waypoint. This first move waypoint that we put down, and double click it. First couple of things you're going to want to keep in mind is that this is a patrolling soldier, so he's not going to be running around. He's not going to be at the ready. His weapon's going to be at rest. So you want to limit his movement, and you want to put him on safe so that he looks like he's on patrol. You can change his formation if you want, but for either 1 to 2 to 3 guys in a patrol, I will usually put them on column or file. So we'll put him on column for right now. And give him his next move waypoint. Move him here, and when he gets to this corner of the of the helicopter pad, you double click on that waypoint and scroll down here, and you'll notice this thing that says waypoint timer, timer values, the minimum and the maximum amount of time that he can wait. And that's exactly what we're going to make him do. We're going to make him stop in the middle of his patrol and just sort of pause and just sort of look around. He'll stop his patrol, he'll look around for a minute, and then he will continue with his patrol. So just for demonstration, let's put 15. Now this waypoint timer is measured in seconds only. So if you wanted him to stand in this spot for a minute, you would have to put 60. You want him to stand there for 2 minutes, you'd have to do 120. So it's always in seconds. So click that, and then we'll just have him go right back to his original place. And remember that if you want them to continue to follow a path, that you can hit this option here called cycle, and he will repeat this cycle over and over and over again until he's interrupted by combat or something else. So let's go into spectate and watch him do that so you can see the timer work. Just a few seconds to load here. Alright, so there's our patrolling soldier. And he's walking, and as you can see, he's got his gun at rest. So he kind of looks like he's on patrol. He's feeling pretty safe right now. He's going to go to this corner of the helicopter pad that we put him on, and he should stop and pause his patrol for about 15 seconds. He's just kind of standing there looking around. He's actually grabbed the front foregrip of his AK. He's kind of got it at rest. And so when a full 15 seconds pass, he's going to pick up his patrol route, and he's going to start right back where he left off. So he's going to go right back to his starting point. And you can do that multiple times with multiple waypoints. If you want him to stop every time, you can do that. You can put a timer if you want him to pause the first point at 15 seconds and do the next one at 30 seconds. You can do that. I'll show you a cool thing you can do for realism when the players get into the mission. So let's say we've got he's got another guard over here that he's going to come over here, and there's already going to be one guard talking or standing right here at this location. And put him on a little move waypoint and tell him to just hold right here. And on the actual figure himself, we're going to give him a animation. Let's do let's see here. Let's just do this one. Stand, turning slightly to the side, needs rifle. So he's just going to be hanging out there. And so what's going to happen is when you play this through, it will look like that this guy stops and chats with this guard for a second, and then they get done talking with what they're talking about, and then he moves on with his patrol. And you can do that. There's so many different options that you can use to make stuff like that look real. When a team comes up on an area and they're looking through it with you know, the range finders and binoculars or whatever, and they see activity, base activity going on. See, he's just kind of hanging out here like this. Here comes his buddy. He's on patrol. He brings his rifle up, and he stops, and they're chatting for a second. Blah, blah, blah. Can't wait for the shift to be over. Got better things to be doing. And remember, this guy is still in his timer, and they finish talking and he walks away. And you can even put this guy on a waypoint, a timeout waypoint, that he stands here for 35 seconds and walks away, and you can synchronize the two so that this guy walks and comes back to this spot, and they have a little short conversation. Hey, you see anything on your patrol? Nope, I haven't seen anything. All right, we're good. And then he walks away, and then this guy walks away. So possibilities are endless is what you can, how you can set up. That's basically how a timer works on a waypoint. But now what I would like to do is kind of delve into a complicated kind of a setup for using waypoints and triggers. I have already built this in a previous mission that I could load up and show what the final effect is, but I wanted to do a creation from a creation standpoint so you can see exactly what all goes into putting it together. So you have our officer here. You have to put down a playable unit to be able to see what you're doing in the mission through spectate. If you want to play as this player, you can also do that, but I like spectate because it gives you the camera views and that kind of thing. So we're going to put this player down. So what I have in my mind to happen is I'm just going to use my player as the trigger activator for this particular situation. And but this can be anywhere in your mission on a map. So let's say you have a friendly team that goes into an area, they've killed a target, they've completed an objective, and you want a enemy quick reaction force delivered by helicopter that is going to parachute out to a location and then move to the location where your team is at and engage them. Sort of think of it like your team got on target, they completed the objective, but not before one last guy got off a radio call and said, hey, we're being attacked, we need some help. And the help that comes comes in the form of a helicopter transport in which the guys will actually parachute out of the back of the helicopter, continue on foot, and attack the exact spot where your players are. So I'm going to show you step by step how to set that up. And like I said, the first thing we do is we put down a playable character. Second thing we want to do is we want to put down our trigger that's going to activate the helicopter movement and everything else. For simplicity's sake, for this thing to work, normally if you were setting this up, like say your team eliminated a enemy commander, in the condition field you would put alive commander 1 or whatever to activate this trigger, to tie this trigger to what it is about to happen. But the way that I'm setting it up, I'm just going to do op 4 is present, which means I'm gonna make let's actually set me over here to the side, and I'll put down another guy that I can control. Let's just put down a crew member, and I'm just gonna have him walk into this this trigger area just to trip the trigger. So just so we're clear, he is just going to be the one that activates this trigger. So the next thing you want to do is place your helicopter down. Now I'm running RHS mod in my game, which gives me access to a whole bunch of well, practically the entire Russian military as far as vehicles and everything else goes. So I'm going to put down an MI8, and I'm going to put this thing down empty to begin with, and I'm going to place them kind of right here on this helicopter pad. And for some reason, when you put these choppers down, they don't want to put down exactly, their wheels sink into the ground for whatever reason. Let's sort of turn them at an angle here. I will try to do this as quickly as possible, but like I said, this is a kind of a complicated setup. So, all right, so now you got your helicopter and you have your pilots down. We need pilots for our helicopter. So we are going to need some pilots. Let's do infantry. Let's see if there's any pilots in here. One of these Russian modules actually has nothing but pilots in it. Infantry. There it is right there. Pilot combat helicopter. Pilot combat helicopter. You make one of these guys the officer. Let's just pick this guy here. Go ahead and increase his skill a little bit. And they're just going to be standing here waiting to get into this helicopter. I'll show you how to set this up. Going to put the lead guy on one waypoint here, give him a second waypoint here. Let's go ahead and move this waypoint over here and change it to get in. You see how that turns green when I place it over the object? So they're going to be the first ones to get into this object here. Go to the waypoint, and let's say after, let's give them 5 seconds. When they trip this trigger, it's going to give them 5 seconds. And after 5 seconds, when the trigger goes off, they're going to get in. Actually, there needs to be 2 waypoints here. Let me change this. There we go. And then from this second waypoint, we will attach this trigger to this second waypoint, and then from this waypoint we will move to double click on that and move it to get in. Okay, so now that we have that set up, we're going to come over here to our trigger and we're going to do set waypoint activation to the second waypoint, so you can see that it's linked there. Now we need a concentration of enemy troops to load onto the helicopter. I'll show you how to do that. We go to groups of troops. We're going to go to, let's do VDV. Let's do MSV. Infantry Flora. Let's do a let's do a squad here and put this squad down here. Okay, so we already know that once this trigger fires, after 5 seconds the pilots should come over. They will get into the pilot and the co-pilot seat. We want these guys to move and get in the chopper as well. This guy right here is our team leader, so we're going to give him 2 waypoints. This one. Then we're going to move and do also get in. We're going to put them on full so they will do that quickly. On a second thought, after thinking about this, let's do this waypoint on a longer timer to give the guys a longer amount of time. No, we want the pilots in first, because if I don't, then one of these guys is going to want to be the pilot, and I don't want that to happen. So we can fix that with the move waypoint once we're inside. So now we have 2 move waypoints. We have one for the crew here, and then we have another one for the team. This bottom one is for the pilot or co-pilot. The top one here is for this team. So let's go ahead and put the timer on these guys. Double click this, go down to timer. We'll make it 15 seconds. Okay. And so no matter what happens, when this trigger is tripped, the pilots will come over and get in this helicopter. But we want these guys in the helicopter loaded regardless. So they will get in this helicopter without the use of a trigger. The paradrop part, you need to make sure that you're going to use the waypoint, which is the one for the move for the pilots, which is here. See, it's still attached. Put it there. Is going to be a move waypoint, and you just want this helicopter to fly. You just want to move. I'm holding Alt. You can raise it up. Okay, you can see kind of where it's going. It is all the way over here, so he's going to fly from all the way over here, and then he's going to fly all the way back. Let's drop them somewhere about right here. You can see the angle. He's going to fly up, but this waypoint that I just put down is almost at the ground, so you can click on that waypoint, hold Alt, and raise it up. Okay, and raise it up in the sky. The way that you know that it's up in the sky is it's got a black line that goes from here down. Now the RHS mod has a module in it that comes with special waypoints. You double click on this move waypoint. One of those is at the bottom, and it's called infantry paradrop. Just select that. It'll change its little icon to a paradrop icon, so that when the helicopter reaches this point, all the men that are loaded in the back of this helicopter will drop out of the back of that helicopter already equipped with parachutes. They'll parachute to the ground. But now once they get to the ground, you want them to assault the position where your Blue 4 team is located. And for simplicity's sake, we'll say that they attack this set of buildings right here, and this is where the Blue 4 team is. Oh, we can even put a Blue 4 guy down if you want, just for let's put a Blue 4 team and see what happens. Let's do a fire team and just put them right here. We'll go ahead and give these guys a move waypoint too, and change their behavior so that they don't do anything crazy. So we're going to put them on hold, combat mode, do not fire unless fired upon. So they're just going to kind of sit there. So we have our helicopter that's going to get loaded with guys. The pilots are going to get in. After they have loaded this team, after this team has loaded into this helicopter, you can go ahead and put a timer on this or the move waypoint that you've attached to it, just to give the team plenty of time to get into the helicopter. So let's put a timer on the pilot get in. Double click on it and say we don't want this thing to take off for 20 seconds at least. That way it'll give the guys, the Russian airborne team, plenty of time to board the actual helicopter. Okay. But you've got these guys set on the waypoints of move here, then get in the chopper. But they're going to be in the chopper. The chopper's going to take off and it's going to fly over here. All the guys should parachute out, but you want them to assault this position over here. So they need a waypoint telling them what to do after that, and you can do that straight from this helicopter. This is the teams get in, the paradropping teams get in. So just click on that. Do a waypoint out here. And go ahead and move it to your location. Which is way off for whatever reason. And we're going to put it on seek and destroy. So after the helicopter drops them off, they'll all parachute to the ground, and then they will move to this location to attack your team. So we're going to go into spectate and see how this unfolds. Okay, so my guy runs into the trigger. The pilots are now activated. They should get in about 5 seconds. We're speaking in Russian. He's like, hey, let's get in the helicopter. He's in, he's in. These guys are moving at full speed because they know that they're supposed to be getting in the helicopter. Here they go. They're all getting in. And this helicopter won't take off for another 10 seconds or so. Shouldn't. Okay, everybody's loaded. The helicopter's taken off. Let's turn my volume down so you can actually hear my voice over the sound effects. So there's our helicopter there. It's going to fly all the way down to our first waypoint. It'll turn around and come back, and it should follow its next waypoint, which should be somewhere up in this area. Should gain a little bit of altitude, and the RHS waypoint works like it's supposed to. You will see a bunch of guys jump out the back with parachutes, and then they will assault the target. Now, I did not put any further move waypoints on the helicopter itself, but you can make it fly away. You can give it another waypoint and make it fly a different direction. You can make it land on a helicopter pad. You can send it back to base using waypoints, whatever you want to do. There's a helicopter right here. You see he's gaining altitude a little bit. And so when he reaches that waypoint, we should start seeing guys jump out with their parachutes attached. There they go. Dropping out and parachute, parachute, parachute. Now remember that they are on a seek and destroy waypoint, so they should, this is the team leader here, they should rally up with him and then assault this point that we put up here on the map. And it looks like that's what they're doing. They're kind of all rallying together. And it looks like they're moving to that point that I put on the map. And like I said, I did not put any other movement waypoints on the helicopter. That's why it's still sitting here. But they're doing exactly what we told them to do. So let's say you did want to add a move waypoint after the paradrop has happened, and you want the helicopter to either fly off in a direction or land or whatever the case may be. Most helicopters in ARMA need a little bit of assistance when it comes to landing. They like to have something visible to land on. You can actually place a helicopter pad, but most maps are made with helicopter pads that are integrated with some type of code that makes them inherently want to land there. So let's just give him, after the paradrop takes place, we'll give him a move waypoint here. Swing it back over. You notice we're kind of right above where we started from. And put it right down here. Double click on it, and again there's There's a couple of ways that you can do this. You can do transport unload, works sometimes, but there is actually a Russian thing under advanced that says land, where it will actually force him to land. So he will seek out this helicopter pad and actually land on it. I'm going to go ahead and put move, not on him, on this guy, so that he'll just stay in this box, because a while ago he ran over and tried to get in the helicopter with the other guys. It looked like he's just going to move into this box, trip the trigger, force everybody to do their thing, and let's see if we can make the helicopter land this time. It should. So incorporating the timers, basically bottom line of this tutorial, incorporating timers into your waypoints does have really specific advantages for making things happen in a sequence, or for making things happen in an order that is beneficial for the mission outcome. You don't want anything to happen before another thing happens. You can put timers on things using your waypoint timers, so that everything happens in the sequence that you as the mission builder so that it plays out the way you want it to play out. Everything fired the first time like it was supposed to. Helicopter takes off again. Why my camera's not working? There's our chopper. Flies a really long way. Alright, so here we go. There's our parachute team. Actually parachuted a little different like this time. Probably because I have them on that land waypoint. So there again, another reason I could have put a timeout on that hover. That way the team would have all kind of parachuted out in one spot. But you can see there the helicopter is coming in, and he's going to want to land on this helicopter pad right here. But the entire team is on the ground now, almost. Helicopter sitting down on the waypoint, on the helicopter pad. And here's our team that are pushing to the waypoint that was assigned to them originally, which was to seek and destroy. and they're kind of going to be all spread out. In a situation like this, if you would want them to attack together, you could put that move waypoint and put, again, a timer. Move them up here to a position like so. Tell them to hold for 35 seconds. Wait for everybody to get up here. And then tell them to move forward and attack. And that way they would all do so in a group. Because right now, this team is really spread out. This last guy over here is lagging because he was the last guy out of the helicopter. Same with the land waypoint. If you wanted the pilots to get out of the helicopter, shut the helicopter off, you could put a waypoint that says get out. And they would actually get out of the bird so that the engine shut off and everything else. So let's try that just as an experiment here. This is their seek and destroy waypoint, but let's say that you want them to rally first before they launch their attack on this thing. Make it a move. But then do a timeout of, let's say, 30 seconds. Okay, so they're going to come to this spot and everybody's going to wait for 30 seconds. The whole team. The team leader should get there first. Everybody else will wait for 30 seconds. Now, after they're all here, you want them to assault at a waypoint. Seek and destroy. So let's change our aerial paradrop and make the helicopter hover for a second while it drops everybody off. Put a timer on it as well. You can see right here, this is the script that it runs from the RHS add-on. But let's give it a 15-second timeout so that it hovers for 15 seconds at least, drops all the guys, and then it wants to land. That way most of our paratroopers will land at least in the same spot instead of scattered over a whole wide area. And again, this is using just waypoints and the timer values on those waypoints. So let's watch that and see if that has any better effect. I'm pretty sure that it will. Again, this is super easy to do once you've mastered waypoint usage and timer values. Always remember that it's in seconds. So if you don't want something to happen for 10 minutes, you need to do the math in seconds. Here goes the helicopter crew. They're getting in. Here comes our paratroopers. They're going to mount the bird. Everybody in. Again, the timer on the helicopter of 25 seconds allows everybody to get on board so that nobody's left behind. This is the pilot's view inside the helicopter. Chase view. It's another reason I like using spectate mode as it kind of gives you option to kind of see what's going on. Alright, so he should fly somewhere right over here, and when he gets over here he should paradrop all of his men. He'll hover, should come to a hover. So he's starting his climb here. Come to a hover, and once he reaches that paradrop, starts to hover, he'll hover for about 15 seconds, and then all of his guys will get out. And now they're kind of all in the same spot. He should hold that for about 15 seconds or so. Which he didn't. I wonder if you've got to add a second waypoint to make him pause. But anyway, we know that right down here there's a move waypoint that says hold. So they should move and rally right here. Looks like they're all going to their waypoint. It gives all these guys a chance to sort of link up. And they'll hold here for a second. You can see them all waiting. And all this is purely, it's going to be a lot of adjusting on the fly, because you'll find out that, okay, I needed a little bit longer time. So it's just patience. Don't get frustrated. Figuring out your timing and stuff with your troops and how long it takes, because we've still got this guy. They're going to take off before this last guy, this guy over here. Yeah, see, here they go. And they didn't wait for anybody. So you might want to increase that timer and give them an extra, 20 seconds or something before they start to push. And again, they're in a particular type of formation. They'll find a hole in the fence. They'll come over here and assault this position. This is the team leader here.
Группа. Движение на запад. Там враг! 6-й, 3-й. Цель, солдат, действуй. 5-й, 4-й. Цель, солдат, действуй.
First person perspective, and he already sees that there's guys there. Anyway, so that's that. It's a pretty complicated way to set up waypoints and make things happen. He didn't even go for the landing pad. I must not have had the land situated on him where I needed to. But there you go. I don't know how long this video was, but it was probably a little longer than it needed to be. But that's how you use waypoints and timers. And if you're running the RHS mod, there's a couple of other ones in there that I didn't use. There's one for fire mission. There's one for there's another one in there too. But anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. If you got any questions, send me some comments. Badger1 out.